morning, A-Team. What is going on? So today we got an awesome video for you guys, like always. Merry Christmas to you guys. Didn't get to post anything over break, but we got something awesome for New Year's. So depending when this video goes out, Happy New Year's as well. And we're gonna show you guys how you can celebrate your New Year's on the next level. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be building our own confetti cannon for less than $20, and this is very simple, something that you guys can do at home no matter what age you are. So let's go ahead and talk about what goes into this project. So like all of our projects, you can modify them as you want to. So we're gonna stick with the basics here and just tell you what we did to make ours work. So what we got here to start with is a piece of 2-inch in diameter PVC pipe. So this is basically going to be our handle, if you will say, and this will be holding most of the pressure that's going to be inside of the cannon. Next up, we got this 3-inch in diameter PVC pipe also cut up already, and this is what's going to be holding the confetti and what the confetti is actually going to be coming out of. So once we connect these all together, the confetti is going to be stuffed inside of here and it's going to fly out of this top. So next up, we got a 2-inch ball valve in diameter, 2 inches here so it fits onto our handle. And this is basically what's going to allow the pressure to come through and stop when we're shooting the confetti out. So we definitely need to make sure that you get the 2-inch one. We have it threaded on the inside. You do not need it to be threaded on the inside. It's actually a lot easier if it's not threaded. But if you do get it threaded, just follow along how we do it and it'll work just fine. So next up, we got a 2 to 3-inch adapter. It's pretty self-explanatory, so we're gonna skip past. You'll see where this is gonna go in the montage. Next up, we got a 2-inch cap. This is what's gonna be going on the back of our handle, so that's just gonna make sure that the pressure stays in it. Simple enough. We also got a small cut up piece of 2-inch PVC pipe, very small, because this is going to be used on as sort of an adapter, a makeshift adapter. You'll see where that goes to in the montage. And finally, we've got 2 of the threaded to non-threaded adapters. Now this is what we have to use because of the reason our ball valve is threaded, so we have to use the threads to connect them before the flat can go into the next pipe. But if you don't have threads, you don't even need this piece, it just goes straight into the piping. We also got our primer and concrete for the PVC pipes. Now this is what's going to make sure it stays in, all the pressure's there, there's no bubbles, there's no leaks. This is what's basically going to connect everything together and make sure it holds. Next up, we got plumber's tape. Again, most of this you will see in the montage what we use it for, so I don't need to go into too much detail right now. Just remember that this is plumber's tape when you see it in the montage. Next up, we got our air tank valve. This is basically what's going to allow air to be pressurized into the cannon. Again, montage. And finally, we have our confetti. Now we just got a bunch of the streamers and we're just gonna rip it up to make our own confetti. And that's basically it. To get the air in, we're gonna use this bike pump, but other than that, I think we are ready to get into the build, so let's go. Now with New Year's around the corner, we decided to make this confetti New Year's themed, so you can take it to all those parties and blast off some confetti instead of just throwing it out. So we're gonna take our white pieces of PVC pipe and we're gonna spray paint them gold and matte white to give it that New Year's feel. Let's see how it looks. As you guys can see right now, we have it in the order that it's going to be placed together. So these are basically the full positions of it, just not put together yet. And this is how we're going to decide how we want to spray paint it. So when you decide how you want to spray paint yours, make sure to lay it out just like this so that you guys can decide the right color so you know how it looks good. Heading over to our work table, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make the main pieces gold and make all those connectors over there just white. So that'll give it a nice good look. Let's go ahead and spray paint it and see how it looks. So now that we've got the first layer put on, as you can see here with the gold, it's looking pretty nice so far. He's got a couple spots that are still dripping. But basically, now that that's put together, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the whole thing together now and then use Gorilla Tape to cover up the spots that are gonna be white and put a final coat on, just so we make sure that it fits together and the paint isn't gonna do anything with the parts not being able to stick together. So we're gonna go ahead and put it together now that the final coat has to be put on later. So we're gonna be putting it together from the back to the front, so follow along and make sure that you know we're putting the primer on and then the concrete on right after it, no weight, and then we're gonna put it together and turn it a quarter turn. So that's what's gonna make it stick. Make sure you get all the pieces in the right order because you only have one shot at this once you put the concrete in. Use our plumber's tape now instead of the primer and the concrete. So now that we got the whole thing put together, looks a little messy because when we had the paint still wet. So if you want to wait for it to dry, go ahead. You don't have to since we're putting a whole new coat over it once it's all put together. But what we got to do is now figure out a way to pressurize this 2-inch chamber here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this valve that I talked about earlier. We're basically going to drill a small hole into the top here and going to keep getting bigger and bigger until this barely fits in. Then we're going to put some plumber's tape around it, and then we're going to insert it in, make sure it's nice and tight, and then we'll be able to pressurize the chamber with a bike pump. So let's go ahead, check that out. Okay, so like we talked about, this is the pump that we mentioned in the beginning, and what we figured out is this actually won't work because of how big this end is. This is actually what would go into the chamber to get the air out. This is where you'd be filling it in from, so this actually wouldn't work. So instead, since we do things creatively here, we went ahead and we actually took apart this bike and we took the valve that was inside this tire here and we just cut it up, and that was small enough that we could just place it right there into the thing, and it looks perfect. And it fits nicely too because it's still threaded with tires, so we didn't even have to use plumber's tape. So that all works out nice and fine. So basically that's it. That is the build so far. As you can see, it looks pretty nice right now. It doesn't even have the final coat of paint, but you can kind of tell where it's going. Here we got the chamber empty right now, but we're gonna fill some confetti in it for the test. We got the lever that's gonna be turned in order to release the air, the place where you put the air, and then the cap to polish it all off. Now, as you can see there, we got the confetti and we got our filler. So we're gonna use an automatic filler instead of the bike pump because it's just easier on us. And also because this has a pressure gauge on it, so we can actually see how much PSI is going into the cannon, since we decided not to put one on the actual cannon. Now you can put one in the actual cannon. It would just go right here, right next to your air valve, and that's how that would work. So you would just be able to see the pressure inside the chamber if you were using a normal bike pump. And so that's it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on the final layer of paint, and then we're gonna go ahead and test it out. So let's go. So I hope you guys figured it out and saw how we did it. We had a lot of fun making this project. As you can see, we designed it, a little 2018 little Aztec with an American flag strap. Clearly you guys could probably do a better job, but that's not what we're here for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like below and comment what you think about this project, if you did it yourself, and other projects that you'd be interested in seeing. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, as we post a lot of project updates there. And if we make a redesign, we might post a picture of it up there too, so make sure you guys are following those accounts. The links will be in the description, or you can just follow them on the names that are listed here. I hope you guys had a great 2017, and I hope 2018 will be even better. We've got bigger, better projects coming up, so make sure you are subscribed. Just smack that subscribe button. Join the A-Team, guys. We are a family here on YouTube, and we do a lot of awesome tech and DIY stuff. So make sure you check out some of the other things. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.